I'm Michelle Yanachan, and this is Fast Track's Insider Guide with my top travel tips from around the world. You pray in Jerusalem, you play in Tel Aviv, or so the story goes. But there's more to Jerusalem than the old city. New designs are taking shape. There's Santiago Calatrava's Cords Bridge, and the Israel Museum has reopened after a 3-year refurb with a strong focus on early modern and contemporary art. Anish Kapoor turns the world upside down with his inverting mirrored commission, and Damien Hirst spots backdrop Ohad Maromi's hugely poignant Boy from South Tel Aviv. From April 17th, works of the avant-garde photographer Helma Lersky will be on show, Working Hands. In Japan, the final section of track linking the country's bullet train network from the southern tip of Kagoshima to Aomori in the north is opening in March. This will, for the first time, enable travel up and down the length of Japan's Kyushu and Honshu islands. At over 300 kilometers an hour, it'll become the fastest rail service in the country. The trip can be done in under 12 hours, but the journey is best broken up with a few stops. The Chilean capital, Santiago, is to be the first city outside of the USA to host Lollapalooza, the alternative rock music festival. The O'Higgins Park will take centre stage early April with a fantastic lineup. The Killers, Kanye West, Jane's Addiction and New Kids on the Noise. While in the city, don't miss the new Centro Gabriela Mistral, an elegant new performance space showcasing concerts, dance, theatre and art. Mud, sweat and tears, Hong Kong will become a battleground at the end of March, hosting the premier tournament of the Rugby Sevens World Series. This sport packs a punch, just 7 players but on a normal-sized field, with short, sharp games lasting 7 or 10 minutes each half. Teams to watch include title holders Samoa, but also New Zealand and England. 3 non-stop action days on the pitch, but also in the stands. This is one of Hong Kong's biggest party weekends. Head to the South Stand if you have the stamina. Namibia has announced the creation of Dorob National Park. That means the country's entire coastline is now under protection. Dorob is one of 4 national parks stretching along the southern Atlantic, which collectively will be known as Namib Skeleton Coast National Park. Imagine, the landmass will be bigger than Portugal. Dorob is a vital breeding ground for the Damara tern. Now for something off-piste. I was just in Courchevel, France, where the snow may have been thin on the ground, but there's more to the mountains this time of year than skiing. A host of springtime music festivals include the Big Snow in Andorra, Spain from March 13th, closely followed by the Jazz Up Festival in Avoriaz, France, and the Brits Music and Winter Festival in Largs, Switzerland. In early April, the Festival des Concerts Sauvages in Port du Soleil happens across the French and Swiss Alps. Snowbombing takes place in Mayhofen, Austria at the same time. And at the end of April is the Winter Sessions Weekender in Chamonix, France. And a heads up, as one of my favourite museums closes its doors for a year-long makeover, I just had a quick visit to the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Museum in Geneva, which charts the 150-year-old history of this, the world's oldest humanitarian organisation, and its efforts in disaster relief, aid to mine victims, and reconnecting families. It's slated to be a remarkable transformation, but if you want to catch the museum beforehand, you have until June. Finally, the field is narrowing in the Cricket World Cup 2011. The tournament, hosted 3 ways by India, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, will be drawing in hundreds of thousands of fans, with all eyes focused on the final to be played on April 2nd in Mumbai, India. Thanks for checking in with my Insider Guide this month. Until next time, happy travelling.
Michelle Yanachan there with some top tips for global events in the next few weeks. But if you're looking for something to do right now, why not head off to New Orleans to celebrate the world-famous Mardi Gras? In August, the city marked the 5th anniversary of the devastation wreaked by Hurricane Katrina. And since then, the economy has been slowly getting back on its feet, thanks in large part to tourism. Well, we sent our own party animal, Typhoon King, to join in with the other million revellers and get a taste of the fun there.
New Orleans straddles the Mississippi River in the southern U.S. state of Louisiana. It's renowned for its historic French Quarter, where what you're looking at is the Royal Sonesta Hotel's annual tradition of local female celebrities greasing the pole. to prevent drunken revelers climbing up, of course. Nicknamed the Big Easy, with rituals like this, and once a year having people plead with strangers and do almost anything to get cheap plastic beads, New Orleans certainly has a big sense of humor. And it can only mean one thing. Welcome to Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras is the world's biggest free party. It's a celebration of life. It's a celebration of the culture of New Orleans and the culture of Catholic faith, because it's the end of that time where you can kind of let your hair down, you can misbehave a little, and you get ready for Lenten season.
Although Mardi Gras' roots are religious, New Orleans opens its arms to all to participate from morning to night in these flamboyant festivities that enjoy poking fun at anything and everything. The tradition of throwing beads and small gifts to the crowds began in the 19th century, and since then seems to have built a cult-like following.
But keep an eye out. You might get hit by stray flying beads. And believe me, these things hurt. Ow. And that's not the only hazard. Step on them, and you might end up taking a slip and a nasty fall. So you gotta make sure you're looking down while you're looking up.
That's what we're about, baby. 24/7, New Orleans.
New Orleans is also famous for its cultural diversity, cuisine and music, and has a joie de vivre like no other city in America.
Now, I think I figured where New Orleans' unique spirit comes from. It's called 24-hour bars and being able to freely drink alcohol on the streets. But this is water. Of course, I'm working. Cheers.
Starting in the late 70s, it became a custom in the French Quarter for young college co-eds to have a little bit too much to drink and bare their breasts in exchange for beads. And it's just kind of a funny thing. But really, most of Mardi Gras is very much family-oriented, very safe.
What if you want to get off the streets and participate on a cruise float?
So the adventure's about to begin. Here we go. New Orleans Mardi Gras.
Some of the cruise parades are led by celebrities. Ours had New Orleans American football team that won last year's Super Bowl.
Right. So our job on this float is to give these beads out to all the revelers. And we got a lot of beads.
For 5 straight hours on the float, we had tens of thousands of people lined along the streets, deafening us with their screams and cheers as if we were world-famous rock stars, simply for chucking some cheap beads at them. But this experience isn't cheap. It costs $1,500 upwards to join a cruise float, including your costume, supply of beads, food, and an after-party or ball.
We did it. We dished them all out. I'm shattered. But I've still got enough energy to join the party.
Thanks, Typhon. And a word of advice, if you are thinking about popping along to the Mardi Gras, watch out for those stray beads you saw flying about in that report. They look painful. Well, that's what we've got time for this week on Fast Track, but join us again next week when...
Probably the first decade of the 21st century, we all travelled for rather less than we should have done.
As tour operators and airlines slap on the fuel surcharges, I'll be looking at how much it'll hit the cost of your holiday. And don't forget you can watch our stories from past and present at bbc.com/fasttrack. And if you're after even more inspiration, check out bbc.com/travel, where Rio de Janeiro is the destination of the week, and you'll find a quirky story about a Colorado festival which has been celebrating a frozen dead man for the past 10 years.
Travel doesn't get much weirder than that. For now, from me, Ranjan Datar, and the rest of the Fast Track team here in Paris, thanks for watching and goodbye.